The New York Knicks are officially entering a pivotal offseason, one defined by fresh leadership, evolving strategy, and inevitable roster transformation. With Tom Thibodeau no longer calling the shots in Manhattan, the franchise stands at a crossroads. The next head coach's vision will undoubtedly reshape the team's identity, and with that comes a high likelihood of significant player movement. Among all the roster pieces potentially on the move, Josh Hart's name is rising to the top of the trade rumor mill. According to Bleacher Report's Dan Favale, if the Knicks aim to make a meaningful splash in the trade market this summer, they will almost certainly have to part ways with one of their top 6 players. Narrowing the field, Favale pins the most probable candidates down to either Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson, and Hart seems to be the frontrunner for a trade exit. Why Josh Hart? The reasoning is both financial and stylistic. Hart commands a salary of $19.5 million for the upcoming season, roughly $6.5 million more than Robinson's $13 million cap hit. That alone makes Hart the more logical trade asset from a salary cap flexibility standpoint. Beyond money, Hart's game and role within the roster also factor heavily into the calculus. Favale highlights that Robinson's unique skill set, his combination of size, rim protection, elite offensive rebounding, and impressive mobility when healthy, makes him an irreplaceable anomaly on the Knicks roster. Hart, while an incredibly valuable player, fits more easily into a system shift, meaning the team could replace or adjust around his absence more comfortably. A fan favorite facing an uncertain future. Since arriving in New York, Josh Hart has endeared himself to Knicks fans with his gritty, blue-collar style that perfectly aligned with the Thibodeau ethos. The former UCLA standout is a quintessential hard-nosed defender and hustle player who brings energy, toughness, and versatility on both ends of the floor. But with a new coaching regime coming in, one that might favor different tactics or roster configurations, Hart's fit is far from guaranteed. Looking at last season's numbers, Hart put up impressive all-around stats in 77 games, averaging 13.6 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game, while shooting a solid 52.5% from the field and 33.3% from beyond the arc. Those are strong numbers for a player often asked to wear multiple hats, but they might not be enough to secure a long-term role if the Knicks opt for a different style. With teams around the league constantly hunting for versatile, tenacious players like Hart, there will be no shortage of suitors. The market for his services could be competitive, and New York could leverage that to maximize return assets, draft picks, young talent, or even a marquee player. Knicks front office. Eyeing Jaren Jackson Jr. as potential game-changer trade chatter doesn't stop with Hart. According to Clutch Point's Chris Persianen, the Knicks are quietly harboring strong interest in Memphis Grizzlies forward Jaren Jackson Jr., a player who could radically reshape their frontcourt. Sources close to the Knicks front office have reportedly long coveted Jackson Jr. as a trade target, and their offseason acquisition of Karl-Anthony Towns has not diminished that desire. On the contrary, league insiders describe a hypothetical pairing of Jackson Jr. alongside Towns as a dream combination for New York, one that could inject the team with a lethal blend of defense, versatility, and floor spacing. Jackson Jr. brings a rare defensive pedigree. He is a former Defensive Player of the Year and a 2-time All-Defensive First-Team selection. His ability to protect the rim, switch onto guards, and stretch the floor with perimeter shooting would complement Towns' offensive prowess and scoring versatility beautifully. If the Knicks pull off such a front-court makeover, it would resemble a more dynamic twist on the Minnesota Timberwolves' Towns-Gobert duo, but with arguably more youth and upside. To make such a deal happen, the Knicks might need to consider flipping assets such as McCaleb Bridges, who has also been linked to trade talks in New York. The coaching question looms large. Should the Knicks bet on Mike Malone? Before any trades can become reality, the Knicks must resolve their most pressing offseason priority: hiring a new head coach. The candidate who inherits this roster will have enormous influence over the team's direction and personnel decisions. Former Knicks center DeAndre Jordan recently made waves by publicly endorsing Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Malone as the ideal hire for New York. Speaking on FanDuel TV's Run It Back, Jordan praised Malone's competitive swagger, leadership, and championship pedigree, calling him a breath of fresh air who could revitalize the Knicks and unlock their true potential.